You know, for anyone out there who is a teenage girl, has been one, or is the parent of one, you know this is a special but also a very complicated phase of life. Chelsey Goodan is the author of Underestimated: The Wisdom and Power of Teenage Girls, which offers a guide to a better understanding of our teenage girls. Now, Chelsey is with me. Good morning.
Good morning.
As the mother of a preteen, I am ready to soak this in.
Great.
So what were your teenage years like?
Oh my goodness. Well, you know, I tried really hard to be perfect and likable and do everything right. And I felt a lot of pressure and anxiety on me. And I would say that a lot of girls today feel that too. And that is leaving them in a state of, oh my goodness, am I doing everything right? And that carries into womanhood lots of times, that people pleasing.
And we forget sometimes as we get older, and we are lucky enough to be in our 40s and we're feeling like, I don't care anymore. You know, we forget what that was like to be so hard. So I'm glad that you're helping us go back to that. Why do you think teenage girls are underestimated sometimes?
Well, so often we have all these stereotypes we slap on them, right? Like the mean girls, or they're dramatic, crazy, and everyone loves to put that on them, which then they're like, wait, no, I have something to say, and they're actually still developing their smart thoughts on the world. And my experience has been that they have tons of amazing things to say, and when I incorporate their voice, then they feel that confidence. Everyone's always trying to be like, how do we make our girls confident? And it has to do with letting room for their voice to be heard.
And listening to them.
Listening, exactly.
Letting them be seen. I think it's so important. I want to go back to something else you said about people pleasing, but I wanted to know what it is that made you write a book on this topic.
Well, after spending 16 years working with tutoring and also volunteering my time mentoring, the one-on-one time I had, they kept saying all these smart things to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's no microphone or kind of portal for what they want to say to the world. So often adults kind of come in and say, you know, you should do this, you should act like this.
This is what you should think.
Exactly. And I want to be that voice for them of making a better world so they can step into their power and their full authentic self.
Right, right. Now let's go back to that people-pleasing thing, and you said it goes into adulthood. Believe me, my therapist will tell you, you know, there is that part of us that want to be the good girl, the girl that pleases people, but that's not something that we should be worried about growing up. So how can parents help our girls kind of avoid that?
So it's such a good question, and it's about creating a mechanism where they check in with themselves. So often girls are putting other people's needs before their own. They're saying, I'm sorry, and it's fine. And when I phrase everything with a question, as a question for a girl, like, what do you need right now? What is it that would make you happy or feel good in this moment? It makes them check it with themselves and be like, wait, what would help me right now? How can I be better supported? Because lots of times when I say to ask them, how can I best support you right now? Girls will be like, I don't know. And I'm like, that's okay if they're saying I don't know at first. The idea of asking them and having them check in with themselves forms that connection you're talking about, that as they grow older, you know, you're not putting everyone else's needs before your own, and you're kind of being like, wait, what do I need right here now to be, you know, my best self?
Gosh, this is such, I mean, it's important. I mean, I'm looking at the clock because I'm just so enthralled with this, because I do see how it starts. It's these building blocks. What are your thoughts on perfectionism and the people-pleasing aspect when it comes to teenage girls?
Right, and I have distinct chapters that have these names, right? Perfection, people-pleasing, because that's quite the combo, right? There. And we're not creating enough room for girls to make mistakes. And when a girl makes a mistake, she absorbs it into her identity as if she's a failure of some sort, right? I don't see that as often with the boys. And boys are like, oh, whatever, I made a mistake. But the girls, we need that room for them to be like, okay, I learned from that. Oh, you know what, I could have done a different choice, instead of them always being so worried that that destroys everything. They're not going to get into college. They're not going to, you know, so on. I
mean, we did that. I did that. I was like, oh, everything. I failed this test. It's over. My mom would be like, what is wrong? But you mentioned boys. Did researching this give you any different thoughts on teenage boys as well?
Yeah, well, so I've worked with boys too, and there's a ton of crossover. The book actually is super helpful for parents of boys as well. But there are differences that I like to highlight and give the teenage girls their moment. And one of them would be big feelings, right? Teenage girls are more well known for big feelings than, say, teenage boys. And I want to give value actually in space to them expressing it, and not a way that, again, is diminished or demeaned for them having feelings.
For the boys as well as the girls.
Boys also, exactly. So often boys need to name their feeling just like a girl does.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for writing this book, for helping us kind of along that path of figuring out. I mean, it's really changed the way I think that all parents should be communicating with their teens right now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, well, just a reminder, Chelsey is holding an author event tonight at the Elliott Bay Book Company on Seattle's Capitol Hill. People can ask you questions then, too, right?
Yes.
All right, so
Bring
go
questions.
ask her all the questions about the kids. Again, Underestimated is the book.